So it's time to take ourselves for what is somewhat of a welcome break from everything that is happening in Will's modern world. It's been a very long series so far. Who knows where Will end up? will end up once Satan has taken her fill. Yes, you heard that right. Satan! The Satan! So let's take a wanted wander back when with the use of our wonderful woo-woo time machine to when our wanderlusting hero was Thorstein. We hit Viking times and see what is happening in his life now. Well, just about then. Does that kind of make sense? Kinda-ish. This episode is part of the Viking Werewolf series that if you want to catch up with, it starts at episode 101. As I say, it's a good series, and I was congratulated several times on my historical research. I didn't have the heart to tell him that Fen was actually there, so historical research wasn't really a consideration. So hopefully you know that Thorstein is a werewolf. Hopefully you remember Will's werewolf soul Fen. I have often gone over how the wolf souls were created, so a quick and rushed reminder is okay. It was a really, really bad winter about 2,000 years ago. There was a human tribe and a wolf pack both dying. Magic and shamanic bollocks went on and let the souls of the wolves free from their bodies, where they then linked with a human soul, or the human body, and the humans and wolves can now combine to form wolf and or wolfman at will. It's good, isn't it? Thorstein's wolf soul is called Fen. His full name is Fenrir, which he chose really when he learnt the stories of Fenrir from the Norse religion. Fenrir has had other human hosts in the past before Will, and Thorstein was the second of these. He lost his first host to love. Gennady, the great Russian warrior leader of the pack, was brought low by unrequited love that he had for his brother's wife. And Fenrir, well, he couldn't endure going through that again, so when he chose Thorstein, he picked him because Thorstein only wanted fame and power. He didn't really care about love and respect, just fame and power, and was willing to do whatever it took to get them. I mean, anything. So let's go and catch up with our dashing duo as they wander through the landscape of Northern Europe in search of the temple at Uppsala. Oh, sorry? Oh, yeah, I'll do that now, okay. I've just been reminded that I have to do the basic housekeeping, which is to remind you that in the description there are links to loads of things that are there for you. There's a community on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram and TikTok where you can join us and chat with us and have fun with us and not have fun with us and all those kind of things. There's books by several great authors there is ways to support the show if you feel that we're worthy of it. It's just a bit of cash to help us out, buy some coffees and all that kind of stuff. And what? Okay, wait. Oh, apparently this is exciting. We have a sponsor for the first time. I didn't think we were having sponsors. Okay, alright, so I don't know what this actually is, so let's have a look. Okay, this week's podcast is sponsored by Drop to Plop. You fucking kidding me? Drop to Plop is the new app released by Google Play that times the drop from your sphincter to the water when you go to the toilet. You fucking joking me? This has been greatly linked to gut health, and from the results they can tell if you have things like colon cancer, gluten intolerance, a lack of love of life. No, I did that one. So, thank you, I think, to Drop to Plop for sponsoring my episode. Anyway, let's go back to it. Thorstein. Fenrir and I are currently making our way through this petty poultry kingdom. Somewhere near its centre is the Temple of Uppsala. It is a long and somewhat arduous journey, but everyone must make the expedition at least once in every 11 winters to refresh our bonds with the old ones. Those being Odin Father, Thor Fighter, and Freyr, Lord of Fertility and Wealth. It is a pilgrimage I've made 5 times before, and it is a joy to undertake and attend those festivities. We travel both by boat and on foot, making it an easier journey for the young. The flies are annoying as we travel inland, but we must suffer to enjoy life. I would travel much faster in my wolf form, but then I would travel with only Fen and I. This would grant me a lot of freedom and maybe would be more fun in the end, but this is not the journey I need to take. My family and friends are with me, as well as offerings and slaves and thralls. I would also lose much joy in the journey if I were the wolf. As a group, we meet with friends and others as they make their way to celebrate life, rebirth and death for our people. Any problems between us or issues are put aside for the time of the pilgrimage and festivities. Although, it is often the site where slights and problems come about. No feuds are allowed to sully the celebrations on those few long summer days, but what happens outside the eyes of the priests is assumed not to occur. Scores will be settled if they need to be. The gods themselves accept that these things happen, but they are contained and dealt with, let's just say, quietly and quickly. I take my family, my friends, and my people. I have brought many sacrifices in the form of animals, treasure, and slaves. Much blood will be spilt as an offering to my protectors. As we come over the hill, a league from Uppsala, we hear the drums, horns, bells, music and voices. The noise is that of joy. There is laughter and happiness. We can hear men, women and children in their excitement. This is going to be a party for all. Odin's Day is for the children. We give thanks for them to Freyr, we ask for their protection of Thor, and we finally ask Odin for the wisdom to guide them, for those children to have wisdom themselves. Families come together and we celebrate the family and the strength of that family. We consider our children the most valuable part of us. They carry our blood into the future. This shows the children how important they are. We give them all that day just to play and have what they wish. There's no chores, no responsibilities for this day. Thor's Day is for the men. It is a night of drinking and festivities. The food and the women, well, they flow, and the marriages and families are forgotten for that night. We celebrate the man. The warrior is freed, and we celebrate by competing in games. We have wrestling. We have the long spear game between friends or tribes. Finally, you can call out any man at the table on this night. You can only call one out, and they can either fight or pay a fine not to fight. This is not seen as cowardice on this night. Being able to pay your way out of trouble is seen as using your wealth to avoid violence you do not need. And to be honest, most men are often so drunk at this point that they are more likely to hurt themselves than an opponent. The largest competition of the night is, as in Thor's name, drinking, something that he would find funny and the greatest gift of respect for him. Another gift the gods have seen good enough to give me is the ability to become sober at will. It seems a strange side effect of being me, but it means I can drink the strongest offerings in great volumes without any issue. I've never lost a drinking competition. I like watching people try to outdrink me. It is fun. If I sat at Thor's table, he would struggle to outdrink me. He may have drunk the sea through the horn of the false gods. He may have caused the tides, but I could outdo him with beer. The Freyr Day night is the celebration of the feminine. We will serve the women food and drink as they sit at the table and show them our fealty. We will show them the love of them at the centre of our lives. This night is often the most fun and can often end in the worst violence. Women have no posturing or words before, violence occurs. Please give them a drink and just let them go. Freyr blesses this night. This night after dark is the night of Frigg with your wife to be blessed by children. Their sore heads and happy partners are a good sign during the following day. I am taking my gifts for the gods, the sacrifices they deserve for the life that they have helped me build. A life I exist in as an accepted monster. They have given me the gift of my werewolf soul, Fenrir, which has made me, or who has made me, who or what I am. I suppose he's not made me who I am, but has made it easier to be who I am and build the fame and fortune that I deserve. The gifts to the Asgardians will also provide me more fuel for the future that we want. This festival will be when I show my true self to the priests and the gods. I will show the world the reality of Fenrir and me in creating the man-wolf. There are rumours out there that I am this beast, the skin changer, the berserker, but of wolf form for the Ulfenhauer. This will show my true reality to the whole of the Norse world. They will have to deal with me, and, I'm ready for that. Odin will bring me his wisdom. He will support me in seeking the knowledge that I need to succeed in my rise to kingship. As the king of the gods, I have learnt much from him as a man. His stories are a lesson to anyone who is put in a position of power and control. I often saw him as deceitful and untrustworthy, but I've learnt that trickery and politics take the ability to lie and scheme to win. I thought my fighting prowess and bravery brought me, success in the past, but it's only partly so. I need to glamour and manipulate to get the power that I need. I also have to be able to charm and solicit people. I have met Odin in my journeys and will tell his story later. Freyr is a member of the Vanir. They are a group of gods who look after the world. They don't really fight for it. His father, Njora, is, a needed ally, being the god of seafaring. I need his support in the journeys ahead. His twin sister, Freyja, is also important to me. She brings the love of my spouse and children, and more important, the love of my people to support me in my rise to kingship. So I will petition for Freya's support. I need the fertility of my fields and my animals. I need him to give me fine, strong children to further my family and strengthen my line. I also need him to allow me to bring wealth to the tribe to support my call to be the future Jarl, a future king. Freyr is, he's my ancestor, and I have his blood in me, which will allow me to become royalty in this world. Thor, although lacking in wisdom, is, at this moment, my truth. He is the hammer in the sky, the god of war and bravery. My berserker brothers and I need his blessings to support our courage and allow us to carry out the deeds that will give us notoriety and fame across the north. He is the one that has got me to the point which I now stand. I had not needed politics before this time. Just a strong arm and an acceptance of violence were all that was required to get me much fame. Thor is also my favourite in the pantheon. He is not a deep thinker, but he's a very deep drinker. I also need to heed the runes cast by the priests themselves to know where we will travel for the next few summers for raiding. The east has been plundered, and like a pool overfished, it now only gives us small return on our investment. We must continually travel further and risk more to meet worthy foes and find needed resources. I require the runes' reassuring guidance. I want new lands to forage, new lands to raid, new warriors against whom I can test my claws and teeth. My wolf pack brothers and I will help forge a new path to greatness for my people. I want more land for us to take and make ours. I want more people to rule over and make our thralls that serve us and our needs. I will become king first. that is set by the Norns, and it's spun into their story. The future does not need to be shown by any priest as mine. I know the story of my Yaldam has already been written. It is fated. The Norns have completed that story, and it is beyond change. After the journey of several days, we arrive at the site of our pilgrimage. The Temple of Uppsala has always been and was said to be built by the gods themselves. It is a vast and imposing building. It is much larger than our village longhouse even, 13 steps long, 7 steps wide and 11 men high. The structure is of such a vast scale that it can fit the many who come into its hall to speak to the gods during the festival. It is wooden and somewhat built like a boat of the land. Its keel sticks out into the sky. It is said to sail the ever-changing sky as it moves and allows the temple's progress through it. There are 3 doors into the building. Each one is for one of our 3 gods that are found here. The men enter by Thor's doorway. It is large and has his hammer Mjolnir, which sits above it, carved into a gigantic wooden block and then coated in fine gold. It is a wonder to see, and one day I will ask for an artisan to copy it for the door of my longhouse. The women enter by a smaller door that Freya watches, and from there he blesses them as they pass through the entrance. The door is festooned and surrounded with abundance. A goat is tethered to each doorpost, and gifts of goods surround the door. There's grain, flowers, ale, and much more, just sat there, just the abundance to thank that god for, well, the abundance they offer. Only the priest himself enters by Odin's door. Odin gives his wisdom and insight into the 9 planes to those who look after and care for his hall on earth. The priests are strange and bitter men, bitter at the calling that they've had to take. There is no warrior's death for these beardless men of the gods, only obedience to those they serve. Let me further describe the splendour of the great temple. The walls and posts of the hall are all golden. The walls are as golden as high as any person can reach. The wooden walls are covered in gullgubbas. They are offered to Freya. They are given for many reasons, for example, to be granted fertility in marriage. I have brought several gullgubbas to guarantee myself a son this coming summer. I bring a golden version of myself. My wife carries a golden version of herself, and together we will offer the images of us both, and a mighty son will be the result. These golden offerings that are nailed on every reachable wooden surface in and out of the temple make the building a breathtaking sight at the centre of the settlement. It glitters on the dullest days as the ripples are formed through the gold by the merest of breezes. From a distance it looks somewhat like a beacon of fire on days when the clouds are not apparent. What's a gullgubba, you ask? It's like a pressed piece of gold with an image hammered into it. The image is the focus of our request to Freya. The fact that there are many thousands of them here tells us that the temple is powerful and a beautiful sight, where the planes of the worlds are close, where we can make requests to the gods. Surrounding the temple's outer walls is a space full of all the offerings, the crafted offerings to the god. This strip around the hall is the barrier between our world and theirs. In that gap, the priests take the offerings and place them for general display. The beauty of the pieces makes us realize that passing between worlds it's not such a horrific journey. It is natural and a thing of beauty. People of different statuses give what they can, from gold armbands and fine silk to a bowl of meagre beans. They are offered and taken gratefully from their providers. The gods realize what each offering means to those giving the gifts. Around the temple are the long houses and the buildings of the village. There are also many stalls where everything and anything that is needed can be bought. Food of various forms is offered. The smell of cooking meats and the inviting hint of rare spices float into the air. The heady aroma of rare wine and heavy ales entices me to start to drink in Thor's honour. The stalls are exquisite and decorated to celebrate the festival. There are pennants and flags and much more fluttering in the light breeze. It is truly wonderful and a revered place, and all I can hear and feel are the noises of excitement and anticipation for the next few days. Above the laughter and pleasant chatter, we can hear the music. The flutes and lyres are playful and contesting with one another to further the tune. The drums keep them under a steady beat so that the musical instruments do not run out of control. It is a wonderful thing to be amongst so many wonderful people, knowing that we're together in the adventure before us. There is no overlying sense of danger or violence. The gods would not allow it in this place. A sacred woodland is in the west where many will spend the evening and the night in such excess. It is this sacred grove we can become the beasts we wish to be and act out like those beasts. We forget the constraints of man and woman at that time and celebrate our beast-style selves as we serve our wants and needs with those who wish to celebrate with us. These are the festivities to celebrate the gods themselves. The night is full of those things everyone should love. We're brought together for food, for fire, and for frig, and for fight. The darkness falls as the food is laid on the table. The drink flows for all. The mushroom stock is given to those who want to participate in the journey, and the night gets underway. My mushroom journey is long and an intense one. It is not the fun and exciting journey of my youth. On this walk into the spirit realm, I must ask the gods questions to help me understand my fate. I know my travels are set, but I must be prepared for those journeys as best I can. When the dawn light arises, we thank our partners of the night, those that belong to our world and those that belong to the other. Slowly the festivities end, and we thank the gods for the life we live with their support. Fenrir. What is important at Norse? The thing to be is to be a drenger. A drenger, in real terms, is a rock binnacle that stands alone in the smashing seas, taking the brunt of the storms, and does not fall. This is as a real man should be. Whatever is cast against him, he should be able to stand. The problems and the woes of life should be stood against and absorbed without fear or reliance on others. There was a different code before your God told you to turn the other cheek. If you're belittled or your reputation is hurt, you must want to get redemption for that. Much like the Budo of the Japanese samurai, your honour must be protected. You cannot show weakness. In the new weak religions, I know this ain't the case, and it's not easy for you to understand having to do this, but it was a meritocracy in the old world. The meek, well, they'd never even inherit the earth, would they? Why would they deserve it? They've nothing to offer to earn it. I didn't understand this about the Abrahamic religions. You should be meek and turn the other cheek to violence. Well, isn't that going to be abused totally by others? Will you not show the strength it takes to take what you wish in reality? I have a theory that the new religion works so well because it supports those who cannot achieve it. You can't get sexual partners because you are not wanted. The great thing about your religion is you can fall back on the fact that your chastity and your innocence are positives. If you're weak and cannot fight and win, you're better than those capable of violence. Being meek, you'll inherit the earth. Being poor is seen as a good thing. Very strange. Those religions make the weak the thing to aim to be. Then the powerful elites can control you easily because you're taught that submission is the correct thing to do. I'll only submit to those more powerful than me, and be honest, that's a rare thing. A Drenger will stand his ground, protect and fight for his family and friends. He will defend his honour to death. He will commit violence and enjoy the process of doing so. He will die for his beliefs. He will also be celebrated for doing so. It creates their fame. We're all on a predestined path controlled by the weird women, the the knowns. They spin our path through life and how each moment will be spent. We cannot see our path, but we can not change it neither. On the day we will die, we will die. So we should look upon it as an opportunity to choose where we will go in the next life. Will we die by the wounds of the fight, or will we die from ill health and old age? Will you die in your bed, knowing that you've not pushed yourself so hard in life that it has cost you all? If you die from results of combat, you get to go to Valhalla, the best of all worlds. You are one of Odin's kin, and you get to fight each day and die with your brothers until the day of Ragnarok happens, and we can take the field against our god's enemies together. If you die in a paltry way, you'll go hell. It's hell with Hel, the goddess of the world herself. The majority of people will end up in this place. It's not a place of punishment like other religions have. This is just a place where you can exist, but you do just exist, much like life here, but with no promise of much else. So on the day you're fated to die, you will die. You are going to die on that day, so you can choose how you will die. You can die fighting by the edge of an axe, and then spend your days until the end fighting with the Allfather, or you could die drowning in your own sick in the hall after drinking too much. Although I think Odin would find this amusing, and may actually allow you to enter his hall after this kind of death. Our gods have given us the dark sense of humour we've gained from them. Thorstein. On the day of the great sacrifice, I will give the gods my greatest gifts. I will show all the reality of what I am. I have to decide on how I'm going to do that. I have to decide on the manner of the reveal. I will sacrifice my slaves and the chattel as the werewolf. Thanks for listening. That's the end of the episode. And as you know, we're probably going to carry on with doing a few Viking werewolf episodes. Please download, please share, please tell other people that we're there, because we're werewolves. And werewolves, you know, people need to be aware of us werewolves. What's that? No, I'm not doing that sponsorship again, sorry. Why? Because it's shit. I'm not doing it. I don't care. It might be money, but I don't care. I care more about my listeners. Yeah, I do. Yeah. Tough shit. Go to the description and find us and do things and social media and that stuff. And as always, I love you. Bye.